Hey guys, Sean Hammond with PremierGuitar.com. We are in Nashville at the Summer NAMM show 2018. Holy, and just right on time, we got someone blaring away on a harmonica. Well, I'm trying to talk to Matthew Farrow from Alexander Pedals. Holy crap, that's loud.
It never fails. It never fails.
We get done with the guy blaring away on the fuzz across the way, and now that's sorry.
It's fantastic. It's okay. We can talk over it. Not a problem.
Matthew, you've got two new pedals that Ryan is playing for us very kindly here. The first one we're going to look at is the Wavelength, right?
Sure. So the Wavelength is our multi-modulation pedal. What we decided to do is take some of the sounds from our previous Waveland pedal, which was white and had a ramp feature, and we added some new stuff like tap tempo, and we also made it our Neo series, which you guys should know by now means MIDI, expression, and presets. So basically you can dial in the sounds you want. When you get it, you can save it, and then you can always get back to it. So no matter how much you tweak it, you can always get back to where you left. So it's cool. We've got a couple different modes in here. Ryan was playing a tremolo on the way in. And we've also got a chorus, phaser, flanger, a vibe, and a filter. So like a low-pass filter, like a synthesizer.
Now, I know we're kind of joking earlier because like the first time I did a video with you, you were showing me how you could control, I don't remember, what was it, the syntax error?
Yeah, syntax error, yeah.
How you can control it with all this stuff on and the iPad. It wasn't your app, but I forget whose app it was.
Yeah,
but I was like, whoa, blow my mind.
So
these are an effort to be more straightforward.
So you can control these with an iPad if you want. They have a USB port on the back. You can plug it right in. The app's on the App Store. We have templates on our website, and there's a lot of people doing that. But for the guy that wants to plop it on the board and use it to replace a couple other pedals, like maybe you don't need a dedicated trem and chorus, you can kill two birds with this one stone. And it's really straightforward to operate. It's got 4 knobs, set them the way you want it, and you're good to go. Save your settings, done. If you want to get in and get tweaky, we have stuff in there for you to find. We left lots of Easter eggs. There's all kinds of cool stuff in the pedal. You know, there's robot sounds and there's crazy surf sounds and there's all kinds of stuff in there if you want to dig. But we purposely made the Wavelength and the Space Race and the Quadrant sort of as a 3-piece set, if you will, to kind of cover that back row of stuff you need on your pedal board. You guys all know what I'm talking about. On the back row, you've got those 3 big computer pedals, right? And they're great and they're cool, but not everybody has the
real estate
or the need for them. So we said, what can we do to fill that niche in a smaller, more affordable package? And that's what we did. Yep.
Now, when we came into the video, Ryan was playing through the Wavelength, and how did you have it set?
It's set on the first factory preset. It's a square wave tremolo with a little bit of boost to cover the volume drop from the tremolo, because tremolo is always going to drop your volume a little or a lot, and we've got a built-in 10 dB boost in the pedal to overcome that, and you can dial that in or dial it out depending on what you need, you know. So he's playing that along with a sound on the Space Race, and we can talk about that later. Yeah.
Okay, so you had both of them on at the beginning. Do you want to show us a couple different sounds from the Wavelength? Maybe even pop off the Space Race? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so let me turn the Space Race off, and then we'll go over to the Wavelength, and we'll just go to the next preset. So you just hold down the bypass foot switch, and now you can see this blue light is on here, and we're in the chorus mode. So now we've got a sort of early 80s chorus going on, and if you want to play a little. An Andy Summers flanger type chorus to a little more of a longer boss type chorus. So it covers a lot of range in the chorus department. And you can also do cool stuff like you can hold down the tap foot switch and you can ramp to a completely different chorus setting. So you can actually have a fast one and a slow one. And you can ramp between them like a Leslie speaker at a rate that you set. So we have a ramp speed knob. So it has the ramping from the Waveland that a lot of people liked, but it also has the tap tempo. So you can, you know, get your tremolo dialed right in or get your vibe in the right tempo. So tap tempo is not for everybody, and we understand that. So we give you some options. Yeah.
Cool. Are there any other trem sounds you want to show us on that, or should we go into the space race?
Let me roll one more sound on here that I really like and Ryan really likes too. We'll do the vibe sound, which is this top purple, and then when you hold this, when you hold the center button down, you get to sort of all the back page parameters, and one of those parameters is the wave shape control. So if you watch the LED, it actually changes color to show the wave you're on. So we've got sine and
Mesmerizing.
Oh yeah, right. Square and pulse and rise and fall. So you can really get tweaky with it. But here's your straightforward kind of like, you know.
Wow, that sounds great, man.
Thanks, man. So if you don't mind, we can move on to the space race.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is like the Wavelength. It's a multi-pedal, but instead of modulation, it's reverb. So it's blue and sparkly, and it also turns purple in the right light, which is crazy, but it's cool. And it's real simple, 4 knobs, and then presets. So when Ryan was playing in, we had it on the spring setting, and in the spring mode, we have a it's a tank size knob, a dwell, and a tone. So you can kind of cop some of the 63 Fender reverb vibes if you want a real tight and sort of compact size spring, like a combo spring reverb. You can dial the size back. You can have a real cavernous, drippy one. So you've got a lot of options just in the spring reverb. And then there's
Does this knob do anything in that mode?
Yeah, it's
like a gain.
It's the mix control, and then it's also the overall volume. So you can actually dial in a cut or boost.
Okay.
So depending on, some of the modes may be a little louder than others. Maybe you want to have a boosted reverb for an effect. You can definitely do that. Like, I want a giant cavernous lo-fi reverb with 10 dB of boost, and you can just hit it, and it's crazy.
Let's hear that. Something like that.
Sure. There's your lo-fi reverb, and we can dial in.
And that is separate from the spring.
Right.
Was there any old reverb that you were like sort of trying to capture the magic of? I mean, obviously with a lot more control and.
Actually, yeah, it's the Morley Rockin' Verb, which is
that the huge one with like an oil can in it? And
no, it's one from the late 70s, early 80s. It's a solid state, which is it's really cool sounding, but it has some like built-in distortion stuff as well. And I was going for like distorted reverb. There's a lot of guys that will run like the reverb into their distortion, sort of like the My Bloody Valentine sort of shoegazy kind of thing, and that's what this is. It's reverb going into dirt, and then we circle the dirt back around and feed it back into the reverb. So you can get some really like I don't know who needs it, but I like it.
I love it. That's one of the coolest things I've heard at the show.
And you can also go full wet on any of these. So we have essentially like a kill dry, and we've got a bunch of boost going on, so it's like feeding back a little too. So actually, I think back here. I don't know why I put that in there, but I don't.
It's killer. What are you talking about?
I don't regret a thing.
I love it.
And then there's a bunch of other modes in here too. My favorite mode is actually this bottom purple one, and it's the analog mode. And this one is great. So it's basically, it's a sort of a modern take on the old Bucket Brigade reverbs. Like there's an old Radio Shack reverb that you used to be able to buy for like $29, and it's like a karaoke vocal reverb thing, and it's awful. It is just, but it sounds really cool in an awful way. And so what I did is I took all the awfulness out of it, and I left the cool part. And so
that specific Radio Shack one is what you were going for?
Yeah, there's also a DoD one called the FX45, the stereo analog reverb, which are crazy expensive now. And this is like that, but with all the problems fixed. So if Ryan hits a note, you'll hear kind of like a. Let me make the delay time longer, and you can hear it. So you hear like a da 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 da. It's a multi-tap.
Almost like glitching, stuttering.
It's a multi-tap delay, so it's like a bunch of little delays together. But if he just plays regular notes, just like his part, it doesn't sound like little notes. Like if you play like chords and things, it sounds like reverb. And the glitches and the stutters all kind of blend together and sound like a cohesive whole. It's really cool. And then because we have extra power, I also added some analog chorus type modulation to it, so you can actually get kind of a chorusy sound out of it, like this. It gets kind of chorusy, yeah. And so you can do a lot of like really interesting sort of vibey things with it that you wouldn't expect just a vanilla reverb to do. So like I said, there's stuff in here for the tweakers if you want to dig, and there's a lot of cool stuff right on top if you just want to get in there and play it. What we find is a lot of guys would get it and play it and be like, oh, this is really cool. And then a week later, they'll email me back and be like, oh man, I found this thing. Let me show you this thing I found. And they're really excited about it. And
I built that.
Yeah. Well, see, a lot of times they find stuff that I didn't even know about. And that thrill of discovery is really cool.
Because there's so many different combinations you can do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, oh, I tried it with this pedal and it works really well with this. And I really like it after this. And so our artists and our players always surprise me with the stuff they come up with. And a lot of it is just stuff that I never thought of, and that for me is the best part. Is like hearing what someone who's really into it will do with it. Like I lived with these for years. You know, I've been working on this space race since last summer. Like 2 weeks after NAMM, it was like, all right, we got to do this. We got to do reverb, and I've been working with it, and I've been living with it. And for me, it's very familiar. But all the people out there that get it, it's new and cool and unique, and they find stuff that I never thought of. Like I never tried to turn the knobs that way. I don't know. So it's really fun for me to hear the stuff that they do. So I love when our players put stuff on their social media and share it. We've got quite a few people that put up cool videos, and it's always really cool. I love to repost those and share those. So
I'm impressed.
So if you're listening and you've got stuff with our pedals, post it on social media and tag us, and we'll repost you. Happy to do it.
Cool. All right, man, thanks for showing us these two pedals, the Wavelength, the Space Race. How much are they going for, roughly?
They're $199 a piece, and we'll be shipping them Monday when we get back from the show.
Sweet. Do you want to tell people where to go online?
You can get them at alexanderpedals.com. We've got links to our in-stock dealers on the product pages, as well as brand new videos up today.
Sweet. Thanks for playing, Ryan, by the way. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm Sean Hammond for PremierGuitar.com.